Hello, Cancers, and welcome to this, your October 1st through October 15th reading and predictions. For those of you who are new here, a very warm welcome to each and every one of you. And for those of you who are returning, thank you so much for continuing to support my little channel. All right. For many of you who have been here before, you know that I do not edit my videos. If I consult a psychic, tarot reader, clairvoyant, any of the above, I expect full 100% authenticity from them, and therefore when I do readings, both personal readings as well as these general readings for these videos, I put authenticity out there, which means no video editing. All right, Cancers, let's get started. We're going to pull cards for 6 different areas of your life. I am going to pull all of the cards up front, leave them all sitting on my work surface face down. I will then begin reading. If you don't want to watch me pull cards, by all means, feel free to scroll ahead a couple of minutes. Let's get started. All right. So the first cards that we're pulling are cards for where you are at now, what's going on with you, and what's influencing you, what energies are influencing you now as we end off September. Okay, we've got 4 cards that have come out. I'm going to put them in the order in which they came out and then leave them sitting face down. Next, we're going to take a look at what you are focusing on, where you're putting your energies, which may indicate what you are drawing towards you. As you know, our thoughts create our reality. Cancer. What's going on for Cancer? What are they thinking about? What are they focusing on? Okay, we have 1 card that wants to come out. Let's go through the deck really quick. I think there's at least 1 more here. Yep. Oh, all right. Apparently we have a lot more. I will have to pick those up off the floor. All right. As I mentioned, no video editing here, so bye-bye. All right. We have a total of 2 cards that leapt out, and then we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cards that landed on the floor. Let's just, yep, and grab that before it lands on the floor. Is there anything else? Anything else? I think we've got it now. We've got the 3 cards. Okay. Now, let's look at what are the difficult influences and challenges that you might be facing at this time, Cancer. Where are we going for that? Going over to this deck over here. Difficult influences and challenges for Cancer. This is weird, Cancer, because it looks like almost all of these cards want to fall out. Yeah, well, yeah, that's exactly what happened. So, and we still have a couple more dropping out. Let's pick up this smaller portion of the deck and we'll go through it and see what comes out. So we do have 1 card out. We're going to go through this one more time, see if anything else comes out. Yeah, a couple more came out. Okay. All right. The next cards are going to be cards of messages you need to hear at this time. Apparently you have a lot of messages you need to hear at this time. And there's one more. Okay, so this card that flipped out at the end all by itself, we are definitely going to keep that message. And let's count how many more we have. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 more messages. Let's see if anything wants to pop out, or if you're meant to hear all 5 messages. It would be rare, but not unheard of. No, these cards are sticking really close together. All right. Okay, next we're going to look at unexpected insights, unexpected influences. And I very clearly saw this deck sitting in this space. Unexpected. Anything else that is unexpected for Cancer? For October 1st through the 15th. Yeah, there it goes. All right, we have a total of 3 cards for you. And where are we going for your final general overall outcome? Going over here to the fairy deck for your outcome. Anything else for Cancer? Anything else for Cancer for their outcome? Yeah, there's one more card flipping out there. Okay. All right, that was the first one and the second card out. And let's have a look. Let's get started, Cancer. Okay, so you have the Two of Swords, Two of Wands, the Chariot, and the Lovers. Oh, wow. Do you have a lot of decisions coming up, Cancer? The Two of Swords indicates that there is a decision that you need to make. And this decision needs to be made from a very mental place. No, I'm not saying mental that way. So from the mind. It needs to be made from here and not from here, not from the heart. Okay, the Two of Swords is a card where you need to use logic and intellect in order to be able to make your decision. I do want to point out that, okay, so you've got the Two of Swords, Two of Wands, and the Chariot. All 3 of these cards all indicate that you have a decision or a choice that needs to be made. The Two of Swords is about making a choice from a very intellectual, mental place. But it can also be that you need to make the decision from blind faith. If you look at the picture on this card, hopefully I can get it to come into focus here. If you look at the picture on this card, oh, my light is coming in there. Okay. You'll see that it is someone who is blindfolded, who is holding 2 swords crisscrossed, indicating that their decision, the choice that they need to make is kind of crossed in their mind and it's intertwined. And they have a blindfold on, indicating that they really feel like they don't have all of the information yet in order to be able to make the decision. You then have the Two of Wands here, and the Two of Wands again indicates that there is a decision you need to make, but the Two of Wands has a little bit more urgency to it than the Two of Swords. Here's why. The Wands represents the element of fire. When someone lights a fire underneath you, you want to move, you want to take action. And so the Two of Wands is all about making decisions and making choices with a little bit more urgency in mind. But I will say, if you look at the picture on this card, you'll notice that the character has 2 wands. He's got a wand behind him and a wand in front of him, indicating, whoops, there we go, indicating that he has literally already made the decision. He's turned his back on one wand He's turned his back on this wand and he's made his decision over here. He is looking ahead, looking forward. And you'll also notice that in his hand here, he has what appears to be the world or a globe in his hand, indicating that once he's finally made his decision, the world is in the palm of his hand. And again, we have an indication that you have to make a decision with this Chariot card here. Now, the Chariot card indicates that there is something rushing towards you. Chariots also bring with it the indication that you need to be putting in hard work here in order to succeed. And finally, the reason that a decision needs to be made here is because you'll notice on this card, whoops, let's try and get the reflection off there. There we go. On this card, you have a white lion and you have a black lion sitting down at the front, indicating, so these two lions are what actually pull the chariot, but they kind of have opposing views, but they're kind of mixed as well. It's kind of like a yin and a yang thing going on here, where the choices are, oh, all right, camera. There we go. Camera's going to focus again. The choices that you have to make are equaled and balanced. And that's why the decision is very, very difficult to make. Because on the one hand, you've got the yin. On the other hand, you've got the yang. On the one hand, you've got the sun. On the other hand, you've got the moon. On the one hand, you've got the devil. On the other hand, you've got the angel. And that's essentially what these lions are representing, indicating there is something barreling towards you at this time, Cancer, that you need to decide. You need to make a decision. And finally, you have the Lovers here, indicating that the decision you need to make is most likely related to a partnership that you have in your life. For many of you, this will be regarding a romantic partner, given that this is the Lovers rather than the Two of Cups. The Two of Cups indicates a partnership in general. The Lovers is about, more often than not, romantic partnerships. But it's indicating, like, the fact that these came out in this particular order, the Two of Swords, and then the Two of Wands, and then the Chariot, and then the Lovers on the end here, is indicating that, so you've got this one, and then this one, and then this one, and then this one, and I'll just show you the picture of the Lovers there so you can see it. It indicates that whatever decision you're currently sitting on, Cancer, there's some urgency to you making that decision. And like I said, for some of you who are not involved in a romantic partnership, it could be that you have a business relationship partnership decision that you need to make. But for the vast majority of you, I want to say that there is something that's come up in your relationship that for some of you, it's going to be the end all and be all. But for many of you, there is just this difference of opinion that has come up in your relationship, and it is time for that to come out into the open. Like what I'm picking up is, for example, the debate on a certain medical procedure that came up for many couples, where one person wanted to take that medical procedure and others didn't, is coming up. That type of thing is what's coming to mind, where it's not necessarily, you know, the ending of a relationship, but it definitely needs to come out into the open for a discussion. Another situation that comes up often between couples can be their political viewpoints, where one of them is right and one of them is left. And, you know, there's sometimes some arguments around the dinner table about political viewpoints. All of these types of things are the types of things that are coming up for me, where it's not necessarily a finality, but it's something that needs to be brought out into the open so that the relationship can thrive yet again as it did in the beginning, because something has come up that needs to be brought out in the open, that a decision needs to be made about. So Cancer, yeah, Let's move into what you are focusing on. Okay, so right now you are feeling some intensity, and to a certain degree you're focusing on some of that intensity. I do want to point out as well that this card is red, indicating that it is part of the Wands, and this is the Page of Wands. And the Page of Wands represents someone who has a little bit of immaturity, while at the same time having this fire lit under them. You know, they're really passionate about something and they want to get the message out there about their stuff. But right next to it, they have the Ace of Cups, the Going with the Flow card. And the issue here is that what does water do to fire? Water puts the fire out. Okay, so again, Cancer, this duality is coming up here for me. You had all of these twos and decisions and chariots here, and you've got this duality coming up again with fire and water coming up. You've got intensity coming up, while at the same time you're also focusing on going with the flow, which again reinforces this idea where the lovers are brought in. You've got a situation, either a business situation or a couple situation, where you're really fired up and passionate about the direction that you want to go with something, with an idea. And perhaps the other person is kind of, you know, dousing your fire a little bit, and then you're waffling and going, okay, well, maybe I just need to go with the flow. No, I want to be passionate about this. And there's this back and forth that's happening here for you, Cancer. And there is a solution, and the solution did come up with these cards. And the solution is this one: slowing down. Slow and steady wins the race. This is the card of, so, and this card corresponds to the Page of Pentacles. This one is the Page of Wands. This is the Page of Pentacles. So you've got two pages here, both indicating that there is a little bit of, shall we say, immaturity, because this is a situation that you have not gone through before. I know I'm not calling you immature by any means, but there is this philosophy that as we go through life, we learn certain things and we grow, and then we graduate into the next phase. And when we graduate into the next phase, we're presented with new ideas, new concepts, new situations for us, and that keeps us in that place where we want to continue to learn. And it also keeps us in the place where we don't get too big for our britches, kind of thing. So there's an innocence when we step up and step into something new, something that we've never done before. And both these pages are recognizing that this situation that you are currently facing, Cancer, isn't something that you've gone through numerous times in your life. So there's an intensity because you're experiencing this. And then there's this, oh, well, maybe I should go with the flow, that kind of douses the intensity. This page is saying, slow down, step back a little bit so that you can, see the bigger picture. So you can see it from a higher perspective. Because when you can see it from that higher perspective, when you can see it because you've slowed down, then you can determine, okay, do I attack this situation with intensity, or do I step back a little bit and go with the flow, or do I temper that and balance it? How can I do this? Let's have a look at what is challenging you. I'm laughing. First of all, you are not the first zodiac sign to have these two cards come out in this particular portion. You are being challenged by water and your imagination, but these came up in this order. So let's tackle this. Cancer, You're being challenged by your imagination right now. You have all sorts of new and different and exciting ideas right now. Your partner isn't necessarily in accord or in agreement. And so you have this decision that you need to make, and you want to tackle this with complete intensity, and then 5 minutes later you want to just go with the flow and go back to what's normal. But it's coming from your imagination. And because of this back and forth, this fire and water, because of that, your imagination is being stifled. You're not able, you're being challenged to see the bigger picture, and yet you're not able to see the bigger picture from above because you've got this back and forth and this decision that you need to make. I do want to say that some of what your decision is relates to ancestral knowledge or traditions. You've got the oak tree here. This is about the ancestors. And so part of and this is exactly what I was saying at the beginning here, where there are certain traditions, certain ways that a family, for example, votes, right? And a family typically either votes one way or votes the other. And it's kind of ingrained. And then we get into doing a little bit of exploration of ourselves, and we go, wait a minute, that party that we've been voting for since my great grandfather was alive doesn't resonate with me. Their policies don't resonate with me. Why am I still voting for them? Right? This is the type of concepts that I'm sensing are coming up. It could be even bigger, or it could be smaller, but there's just this back and forth. And so part of what you're being challenged by is traditions right now, Cancer. What resonates for you? You need to go within, and that decision needs to come from you, not from the person throwing water on your fire. And finally, yeah, you've got the water, the lifeblood card coming up. So I want to say two things about this particular card. Water is dousing your fire. It's not allowing your imagination to come out into full fruition here. It's dousing your intensity here. So it's one of your challenges right now. But water is also our lifeblood. Without water, we as a species and life as we currently know it, I'm being very careful with my words here because I do believe that life is possible without water. And I've been saying that for most of my life. But life as we know it on this planet requires water, which means that if you're being challenged by water right now, Cancer, pay attention to your health, pay attention to your own hydration and level of hydration, but as well, you can use water for the purposes of slowing down. Water is your friend. Even though water is kind of dousing your intensity right now, water is also your friend because water can help you to slow down. Water can take away your anxiety with regards to making this really important decision. Let's have a look at messages that you need to hear at this time. Okay, remember this is where you had like 6 cards come out, 6 messages you need to hear. First of all, never judge another. This is really important because as you're going through this decision that you need to make with a partner, romantic or otherwise, business partner or romantic, it doesn't matter, or even family member, as you are going through the process of needing to make this decision, clear the air, make sure that what you want is laid out, what they want is laid out, and you need to make the determination as to whether there can be a meet in the middle or not. That's really what's coming up for me. Can there be a meet in the middle once we get everything out in the open? But in the process, don't judge the other person for their thoughts or for their opinions. It is what it is. That's how they feel. That's how you feel. Do not relinquish your power. Okay. This card, you're not the first sign to get this card either this month. And what this card is actually saying is don't compromise your values in order to make this decision. Okay? Decisions are not always black and white, and compromise can be there, but what you don't want to do is compromise your values going forward so that you feel like you can't live anymore or thrive. Follow the golden rule. Yeah. When you're making this decision, and I do feel like at some point in time between October 1st and October 15th, Cancer, there's going to be the necessity for you to sit down with this partner, business partner or romantic, sit down with them and say, look, I don't think we're on the same page anymore. This is how I'm feeling. Then you open the door, allow them to express, this is how I'm feeling. Put all of that in the pot, and then you have to make that decision, that fateful decision about whether it is reconcilable or not. But you need to follow the golden rule the same way that you want to present your case. Hey, I'm not feeling this anymore. This is why. You have to allow them to then present their case as well, Cancer. Follow the golden rule. Do unto others as you would have done to you. You do want to express your feelings, but you need to follow the golden rule. So as you open the door and you express your feelings, you then also need to allow them to express their feelings. Calm is not a weakness. Sitting there calmly while the other person is expressing themselves, even though you may be bubbling and brewing with intensity, because you're not necessarily in agreement with what the other party is saying, sitting there calmly does not mean that you are weak. It means that you are following the golden rule. You are allowing them the platform to be able to express themselves. And finally, be of service. Message you need to hear at this time. We'll leave it at that. All right, looking at unexpected for you. Okay, we have the King of Wands here. The King of Wands is someone who comes in usually in the role possibly as a mentor. He is a king of fire, which means he is also the king of action, indicating that at some point between October 15th or October 1st and October 15th, Cancer, you are going to have to make this decision, but you may not be making this decision alone. The King of Wands coming in is indicating that perhaps there is a piece of knowledge or advice that you didn't have initially. Someone's going to bring that knowledge or advice to you, which will make making your decision easier. Remember what I said about this card right from the beginning, this Two of Swords. It is about making a decision on blind faith. And this card came up for you as to where you are now here at the end of September as I'm doing this reading for you. And this King of Wands is coming in for you at some point in time. It's unexpected that you're going to come across a piece of advice or information, potentially from someone who is going to make this decision far more cut and dried for you. You have the Eight of Pentacles here. Eight of Pentacles is the card of you putting in the work in order to be able to succeed with the outcome. It is about you, I guess, for lack of a better term, in the context of the cards that have come out for you. The Eight of Pentacles is about you doing the research and making sure that you have all of the information from both parties, both what you know to be true in your own heart, as well as listening to, following the golden rule, do unto others as you would have done to you, allowing for that space and that opportunity for the other party to be able to express themselves. Make sure you have all of the information so that you can make this decision without being blindfolded. I know that in the Fairy Tarot, this deck, the Eight of Pentacles encourages people to perhaps go out and take a seminar or some type of retraining. So it could even be about seeking out a counsel from someone, advice from someone, in order to be able to better make this decision, Cancer. And then you have the High Priestess. The High Priestess is your knight in shining armor, and it is how you're going to finally be able to make this decision, break this duality that is going on. There's definitely duality. You've got 2 2s plus the Chariot here. The High Priestess is all about tapping into your intuition, taking that time, stepping back. Oh yeah, you have another card here about doing that, right? Taking back, stepping back, slowing down in order to be able to make your decision from that inner knowing. So the High Priestess energy is coming in as part of your unexpected energy. It's really not unexpected, because Cancer, the best place to make decisions from is following a meditation when we've gone within. Let's have a look at your final general overall outcome. Okay, beautiful. You have the you you have the Four of Winter, also known as the Four of Swords, and you'll notice on this card you have the fairy inside a little hole in a tree, and she has withdrawn from the world. Why is she withdrawn from the world? Because she has a decision that she needs to make, and the best way she can make that decision is to go within, make that decision from that still small voice. The need for withdrawal. Okay. Also, this card may also indicate the need for more sleep. If this situation, Cancer, is keeping you awake at night, then it's probably affecting your sleep. So yeah, just withdraw, spend some time on your own in order to be able to make this decision. But the final card in your reading is the Nine of Autumn, also known as the Nine of Pentacles. And this is an amazing card for your general overall outcome. This is the card wherein there is some closure to the situation. You've put in the hard work and you've ultimately made the decision. So come mid-October, you'll be at that place where you're making this decision. Everything's been out. The cards are laid on the table. Everyone knows where they stand. And you have the opportunity to feel good about the way that you handled the situation, the work that you put in order to be able to have this outcome. Also, one final note for the Nine of Autumn, the message right down here at the bottom of the card. Let me move my fingernails. Cherishing your time alone. Best place to make decisions alone. Again, with this Eight of Pentacles, make sure that you have all of the details and knowledge before you actually make the decision, but you're going to have to make that decision from, okay, you've got 4 cards here all indicating that you ultimately need to make your decision from that quiet alone time, alone space. Okay, Cancer, thank you so much for being here. I'm going to end off your reading at this time. If this video resonated deeply for you, please consider subscribing to the channel and giving the video a like. It really does help me. Also, if you are interested in booking a private or personal consultation with me, my contact details are down below. As always, I'm grateful to each and every one of you, and I hope that you will allow me the honor of doing your next reading in the middle of October. Thank you, Cancer.